Good afternoon, distinguished guests, graduands, family and friends. Welcome to Bond University's graduation. Please take time to note the nearest fire exit to you. They are located in each corner of the theatre. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow the directions of university staff. As today is a very special occasion for each of the graduates, please turn your devices to silent and remain in your allocated seat for the duration of the ceremony. A live stream of this ceremony is also available from the Bond University graduation website and Bond University YouTube channel. Graduates, I will now take you through the ceremony protocols for the presentation of awards. When directed by staff, please proceed in your order of seating and line up along the stairs to my right. When your name is announced, proceed to the table at the centre of the stage to receive your testamen, and then walk across to the far side of the stage to have your photo taken with the Chancellor. Once your photo is taken, please proceed up the middle aisle to my left, around the back of the theatre, and you'll be directed to sit back in your original seat. The formal proceedings will commence shortly, but first, please enjoy a short presentation celebrating 30 years of Bond University.
Today, as of this moment, vision has become reality. The way is now ahead. From sandstone and a strong, unwavering vision, an institution was built to offer a student experience without peer. A university created to redefine the landscape, setting new heights for global education. In our first 30 years, almost 30,000 alumni have passed through our doors.
All our graduates to extend. Be successful, have great careers, and never forget Bond University.
With an unbreakable bond to the international networks and experiences that position them for success. Together, we have built a legacy. A legacy that continues to evolve today.
Bond University will take its place among the great universities.
As we strive for and reach new horizons in personalized learning, we continue to deliver a truly remarkable global student experience.
To my fellow graduates, thank you for your friendship. Please cherish the memories and friends, but continue making new ones. Goodbye and good luck.
Since 1989, Bond University has forged the way in law, business, society and design, health sciences and medicine, and sport. Led by great minds.
Bond University will become a magnificent jewel in the crown of Australian tertiary education.
With an even greater vision for the next 30 years and beyond. It's because of those who came before us that our future is limitless.
Graduates, will you please stand for the academic procession?
Please be seated. Chancellor, graduates, family and friends of the graduates, university colleagues, welcome to this graduation celebration for students who have completed their studies in 2019 and during 2020. Firstly, please join me in thanking our Piper, Bond alumnus, Pike Major Nick Tompkins. On behalf of the university community and on behalf of each of us, I acknowledge the people of the Yugambeh language group on whose ancestral lands our university now stands. I pay my respects to their leaders, past, present and emerging, and I do so in a spirit of reconciliation. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected and interrupted every aspect of our lives, including the celebration of the achievements of our graduates. Here at the university, we acknowledge that graduation is a liminal event in the life of a student, and as a result, we are delighted that we are able to offer each graduate that is able to attend and their family and friends the opportunity to participate in this ceremony that publicly marks the significant milestone of graduation. Moreover, with COVID rules changing almost daily and our COVID-related horizon drawing in, we at the university are pleased to see that so many of you are able to be present today. This room in which we are gathered is the university's largest lecture theatre. It was named the Basil Sellers Theatre in honour and recognition of Basil Sellers AM, a major philanthropist who has had a successful business career as well as being an accomplished sportsman. Dr. Sellers is a significant benefactor of many organisations in Australia and abroad. It is now my great honour to introduce the university's Chancellor, the Honourable Dr. Annabel Bennett, ACSC FAA.
It's hard with these lights not to trip over the step they put there, especially so that I can see you. Look, welcome everybody. It's quite an event, isn't it? How good is this? I didn't think I would be here. I flew in this morning on the first Virgin flight into Queensland from New South Wales. I felt it was a great achievement. It enabled me to be here. Otherwise, I would have handed over to one of the other councillors and I would have missed out on being here for your graduation. I don't know if there are any other people in the audience who managed to come in this morning. Yes, well, welcome. Good on you. That's fantastic. The first thing I want to say, and I hope I just saw up the back there somebody with a pram. If she's gone outside, then please can someone bring them back in. I mean, this is a family occasion, and if there are any young children in the audience, I want them to be part of it. And after all, we want to welcome them because we see them as future Bondies, and we want to make sure that their first experience at this university is as good as it has been for you. Look, This is a fantastic time. It's a very special time for everybody in this room, for those who are part of the actual graduates and graduates, and for those who support them, and also for us. I mean, I don't know if you're aware, I mean, as far as I know, this is the only university that has been doing face-to-face teaching as much as we have, and also to have a graduation, a real honest-to-goodness live graduation. And while everybody can't be here for it, it makes such a difference to have that special moment to mark the end of your time at university before you go into that ghastly wide world outside of Bond but hopefully you'll have enough Bondies around you, because for me it's a wonderful place, and whenever I go into a room or anywhere I am and somebody says the word Bond or Bond University, I find myself smiling. It's sort of just like a Pavlovian response, I think. But I notice when I go into rooms and other people, and the word Bond is said, and other people smile, it's inevitably a Bondie. And there's that sort of little recognition that is so special for this university. Well, it's almost time for the summer holidays, and we've all weathered what could be called a very unpredictable 2020. But we're here at a graduation ceremony. There are always such special events for the graduates, for their partners, family and friends, and for all who've supported them during their studies here at Bond. So I'm really delighted that you're all able to be here to join with the university and to honour each of the graduates on this wonderful occasion. Each of you are our very special guests. However, with your indulgence, I would like to acknowledge a great friend of the university who's here this afternoon, and that's Judy Brinsmead from ADCO Constructions. Judy, you honour the university by your presence, and a very warm Bond welcome to you. Not only have you given sustained support and friendship to Bond, which is very much appreciated, but I happen to know from another role I played earlier in this year in the Bushfire Royal Commission that you and ADCO were great contributors to those who suffered during the bushfire season earlier this year, and we just hope it doesn't happen again. Look, it's trite to say but true that we're living in interesting times. I'm really proud of the staff of the university and the way they've managed this time, which has been so extraordinary. And I'm immensely proud of the Vice-Chancellor, who has what could only be described as iron determination to hold these graduation ceremonies, and he won out. He even overcame the most unpredictable COVID pandemic, which we haven't seen the end of yet, I fear, although I'm hoping Australia is going to hold its present ability to withstand it. But to all the university staff who've worked long and tirelessly to hold these graduation ceremonies that honour our recent graduates in a formal and public manner, on behalf of the graduates and their families, I say thank you, a heartfelt thank you. We're live streaming today's ceremony, and I'm aware that we have a number of fellow graduates watching from various overseas and interstate locations. And they're with us obviously through that methodology. They hear us in spirit, and I think they will enjoy watching each of you go up, and they'll be with you in that way and be able to participate. COVID's impacted on almost every aspect of our lives. Further, its impact both in a health and economic sense is set to continue, unfortunately, for several years ahead, and many of the people here would know that more than most in terms of the fact that we still don't know what the long-term impacts are on individuals who actually do get infected. This will go down as a remarkable period in human history. At the forefront of the battle against the virus has been the healthcare sector. Healthcare workers across the globe have been magnificent. They've put their own safety on the line. They've been brave, resilient and steadfast in tackling the pandemic and providing a sea of calm for the community. The graduates here today will join that workforce. While not all will end up working on the front line, they will all surely contribute to the health, welfare and well-being of our society. There is much honour and dignity in your chosen fields in the health sector. Your willingness to serve humankind and society is wonderful, and it makes your university beam with pride. It's a noble and admirable professional sector that you are joining. Bond's student-centred mission, its intimacy induced by its determination not to grow too large, its diversity of people and its strong sense of independence and self-destiny, welcome, are all, I can hear that little Bondy up the back, don't go anywhere. And Bond has such a strong sense of independence and self-destiny, which are critical ingredients that make up the unique character of Bond. When I first met the Vice-Chancellor, in what I fear was an interview for me rather than for him, if you know what I mean, I said to him, well, tell me about Bond, because I'll come to the fact that I also have a Bondy in my own family. And he said to me, well, he said, we have 3 important goals at Bond. The first are the students, the second, the students, and the third, the students. I'm not sure that everyone understands and appreciates how unique that is. These are the unique elements that are embedded in the DNA of Bond, the superb student experience that is on offer, and the inviolate rule that the interests of the students are paramount. Notwithstanding the beautiful physical surrounds of the campus, the striking built environment, the ornate gardens, and the stunning collection of art on display all across the university, the reality is that Bond is always about its people and its community. Graduates, you are now joining a very proud, rich and diverse Bond alumni community. We are, as you may know, we are small, but we are one of the top 20 small universities in the world, and we're not at the far end of that either. With around 30,000 members spread around the world, there's always a Bondy doing some good in the world at any given minute. This is now your opportunity to join the Bond Alumni Network and perhaps help someone else out and to do some good. We're always looking for opportunities to involve alumni in the life of the university through mentoring, graduate opportunities, guest presentations, and many alumni like to give back to the university during the various phases of their career. So following the ceremony today, please visit the Alumni Centre on your way to Don's Tavern to receive a graduation gift from the merchandise store and to grab a photo in the Alumni Centre. We understand just how significant a commitment it is to do a bond degree. The path to today has required some extraordinary time, effort and application. Our accelerated academic program is challenging, and deliberately so, because we believe that a university degree must be earned. Further, a bond degree requires considerable investment as we are a self-funded, non-profit institution, so I thank the many families, supporters and benefactors that have provided financial assistance to enable the graduates to study at Bond. Graduates, you should be immensely proud of your achievements, but you should also recognise that your achievements would not have been possible without support. While today is a day to celebrate, it's also an opportunity to reflect and say thank you to those who've supported you. I urge each of you to make contact with those who've supported you during your studies and thank them. And what the Vice-Chancellor would say if he could be here is words to this effect. He would say, you know that device that you have that's glued to your hand? It's got an interesting function besides messaging and Facebook apps and Instagram and all of the others. It's got a thing called a phone function. So if there is somebody that you want to say thank you to, use that function, because there's nothing like the sound of your voice to be able to tell the people that you want to speak to and you want to tell them how grateful you are. Tell them that way if you can't do it in person. Don't just message them. It's not quite the same, and you know that. You each have a copy of the program where you can follow the list of graduates. I trust that you enjoy the ceremony, respect and acknowledge each and every one of our graduates and take away your special moment. To the proud parents, other family members and friends of the graduands, because they're not graduates yet, I share your sense of pride. I know exactly how you feel, as one of our daughters is a proud Bond graduate, and my husband David and I have sat where you are now and celebrated the success of our daughter, and we acknowledge the difference that Bond made in her life. However, I also know that as we sat in the audience, there was that little frisson of fear that as her name was called, like one of those movies with the, speak now, forever hold your peace, that somebody would say, big mistake, not that one. And of course, they haven't yet, the moment of graduation hasn't come. It will come momentarily. That's when you can actually breathe the sigh of relief that it's actually going to happen. So as Chancellor of this great university, I have many tasks to perform, and none is more enjoyable than presiding at graduation ceremonies. I now look forward to the presentation of each individual graduate, and I call on the Dean of Medicine to present the candidates for degrees.
Will all candidates for degrees please stand? Chancellor, I wish to present graduands from the Faculty of Health Sciences and Medicine for admission to wards of Bond University. Chancellor, I certify to you and to the university that the graduands have satisfied the requirements for admission to the awards for which they are being presented.
With the authority of Council, I hereby admit you to the awards for which you have qualified. I also admit those who have qualified for their degrees who are unable to be present today. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the moment of graduation. Would you please join me in congratulating the most recent graduates of Bond University? So we'll now move to the formal presentation of testamers. Graduates, you can be...
Thank you, everyone. Before I formally present the graduates, I'd like to remind you of the procedure we will follow, compliant with COVID-safe protocols. Graduates, please remember not to shake hands with the Chancellor, and members of the audience, please remain in your seats during the ceremony at all times. And can I suggest that after people's names are called is probably the most appropriate time to chat. To clap, sorry. Not to chat. Chancellor, I present the graduates from the Faculty of Health Sciences and Medicine. Rumindaja Naidu. Ramil Nair. Subi Narayanan. Isaac Naruz. Thomas John Nearhut. Louise Nins. Shahzad Nazai. Carla Francesca Pecoraro. Piyush Pius. Jonathan Raffler. Shrithti Ranjith. McLean Robinson. Bradley David Ross. Setere Summer Sabet. Miranda Dalwis Samara Singh. John Gurgis Ibrahim Fawzi Shinoda. Nashwa Sharif. Grace Singh. Sony Singh. Dylan Vishna Sivaraja. Charlotte Grace Steinberg. Phoebe Steinberg. Linda Sunny. Jacinta Trang. Samuel Jeffrey Tredinick. Yug Ashish Trivedi. Vamsi Brahma Varanki. Evelyn Rebecca Webb. Erica White. Marianne Wilson. Kennedy Wong. Ariel Elizabeth Alice Woodhouse. Melanie Renee Wright. Michael Yulong Wu. Kylie Ka-Yi Yan. Alexander Peter Youssef. Sam Zakem. Tamana Zanam. Angela Yuan Zhu. Manhe Abudaze Jahan. Gurley Capiz Bennett. Benjamin Thomas Simpkins. Winner Almario de Castro. Cassandra Ling. Matilda Rose Young. Mia Elise Cunningham. Elle Devine. Kelsey Elizabeth Driscoll. Jodie Craig Dwyer. Monica Naria. Tamara J. Sharman. Ashley Janet Smart. Michelle Marie Kazar. May Kuthia. Chancellor, our valedictorian has been selected to give the valedictory address on behalf of the graduating cohort this afternoon. She's achieved a cumulative GPA of 4 out of a possible 4. She has achieved first in class in 2 of her subjects. She was placed on the Dean's List for Academic Excellence in 2 semesters and the Vice-Chancellor's List for Academic Excellence in 7 semesters, graduating the degree of Bachelor of Medical Studies and Doctor of Medicine and recipient of the Medicine Valedictorian Medal, Ghazal Validazeh.
Good afternoon, Chancellor, Executive Dean, academics, special guests, parents and friends, including all those who couldn't be here today, and of course, my graduating classmates. As I was sitting down to write this speech, looking back over the past 5 years of our lives as medical students, it was difficult to look beyond the year that's just passed. To imagine a world where our biggest dilemma on a Thursday night was whether to go to that shooter's after party or not seems like all but a distant memory in the new world of today. Nonetheless, here we are. They tell you med school is hard, so here's a quick recap. Between the 103 of us, we've sat dozens of exams, prepared for what feels like hundreds of OSCEs, completed countless ITAs, clerk cases and mini CXs. In our preclinical years, Michelle taught us about the different types of epithelium. Neelam gave us a who's who guide to traveller's diarrhea. We cried trying to decode an Athanasios neuroanatomy lecture and rejoiced at every Gordon pathology slide on the history of medicine. As we moved on to BVH, the legendary likes of Namat and Vic Brazel challenged us to be critical thinkers, while Anne Spooner blessed us with her pearls of wisdom. In our hospital years, we woke up at the crack of dawn, only to inevitably still miss the surgical ward round. We helped deliver babies on labour ward, and then later played peekaboo with them in Peds Clinic. On Gen Med, we quickly learnt the value of a comfy pair of shoes, and in ED, we watched the fear on our patients' faces as we broke the news that the medical student would be the one to put the cannula in today. We studied, we laughed, we cried, and between it all, we danced. Ali Drew organised some phenomenal medball events that will be hard to top. Thursday nights at Don's became a religious ritual for some, and although short-lived, Scrub Crawl will be a night we'll all remember for many years to come, unless maybe you're Sapun. So, they tell you med school is hard. Well, that may be true, but what they don't tell you is life doesn't stop just because you're in med school and it's hard. It doesn't matter that it's the day of your final year exit exams and you now have a migraine and can't see out half of your vision. Life doesn't seem to care. You still get sick, break bones, get bitten by dogs, end up as a patient on your mate's night shift in ED, or if you've got honours luck, it's all of the above and all at once. There's still the stresses of your day job, financial strains, relationship breakdowns, juggling study with family and friends, or even being pregnant, as some of the incredible women in our cohort have done. And now, as of this year, we can add a global pandemic to the list. This year has been one for the history books, and COVID will undeniably be one of, if not the greatest challenge to face our generation. To say it has been a difficult year would be an understatement. We need only to look around the room to be reminded of the unrelenting devastation that has become the forefront of every conversation, news article, or political debate. But despite it all, we're sitting here today, graduating as the newest cohort of junior doctors, and that's something to be proud of. Although now, more than ever, the road ahead seems daunting and uncertain, I have no doubt that Bond has equipped us with the skills and resources we need to navigate our way through the challenges that we will face individually and as part of the greater medical community. Although it saddens me to close this chapter in my life, in the words of Thomas Huxley, the rung of a ladder was never meant to rest upon, but only to hold a man's foot long enough to enable him to put the other somewhat higher. The future is scary but exciting, and I look forward to the day I can refer my STEMI patient to Kobe, my septic child to Erica, and if I'm ever in Ipswich, my PV bleed patient to Carla. To think that the next time we sit in OSCE could be for our fellowship exams is both terrifying and exhilarating. What's even more frightening, however, is that Tracy won't be there beforehand to reassure us that there were only minimal tears in the previous session. On that note, I'd like to thank Bond University as a whole, the medical program, and all the faculty, especially the admin and non-clinical staff, who have worked tirelessly and diligently so that we could all be here today. We are truly very grateful. Furthermore, I have no doubt I speak on behalf of the whole cohort in thanking our family and friends, and especially our parents, including all those who couldn't be here with us today. You've afforded us this remarkable opportunity that not all may be privileged to, and for that we are incredibly lucky. To my mum and dad, thank you for your unconditional love and support. I owe everything that I am to you. And to Elliot, who graduated 3 years ago with the belief that he never had to practice for another Bond OSCE again, I'm sorry I had other plans. Finally, to my Gold Coast family, DP Nashwa and Sonny, and the graduating class of 2020. You have made the last 5 years the most memorable so far. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I thank you all. So, work hard, support each other, and best of luck in your intern year.
So I'd like to add my thanks to our valedictorian. It's a journey, as they say, a much overused cliche, but all of your progress for your degrees, whether it be medicine or occupational therapy, nutrition and dietetics, biomedical science, health sciences, it is a journey, and you go with it with your friends who became often lifelong friends. So thanks again to our valedictorian. And I guess as the Executive Dean, I'd like to make some brief remarks about the year that's been. It's been, as the Chancellor said and as our valedictorian has said, an extraordinary year. But I think one to which the students and staff and the Bond community have risen and shown themselves to be adaptable, flexible, innovative, supportive, and willing to go the distance to help each other. And I think it's that collaboration, that esprit de corps, that willingness to help, the willingness to go the extra mile. It distinguishes this university, and it shows up, I think, in the quality of the student experience. We've learned a lot from the disruption of COVID. We've learned that some teaching is actually better done online or in a multimodal mode. And there's some things you thought you couldn't possibly teach any other way but face-to-face that actually can be taught in different ways. But I think we've also learnt the value of the in-person, and I think we know that the students and the staff really are looking forward to getting more people back on campus. And I think we've been one of the universities that's been quite successful in trying to get students back as soon as possible, because it is part of your university experience to actually be together, to have those interactions, to meet each other, and all of the things which our valedictorian said about those friendships and those relationships which will persist for life. And, and that's very much part of the experience of a university like Bond. I also want to acknowledge that this is a landmark graduation for the medical program, and in that we had our first two Indigenous doctors graduate this morning, Dr. Bryony Keats and Dr. Moira Stone, and that's a wonderful thing, I think, for adding to Indigenous health and helping to increase the numbers of health professionals from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander backgrounds. And I think university wants to do that right across all of our programs and in our staff as well, and to help to do what we can to address disadvantage and to close the gap in Aboriginal health, but also in other ways of participation in life in this great country. So that's all I have to say. Now, graduates, I'm going to get you to stand, and I'll ask you then to respond after I read out your contribution. So please stand. So graduates, I charge you as graduates of Bond University, demonstrate at all times the highest moral and ethical standards, to apply your learnings and education to the benefit of society, to pursue the highest standards in all your endeavours with excellence always your aim, and to support the university forever and enhance the reputation of the university through engagement as proud alumni. Graduates, do you accept that charge? Yes. I think we could probably do that once more with a bit more feeling. Graduates, do you accept that charge? Yes. Okay, you were somewhat louder than this morning, so well done. You may now be seated. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the formal part of the ceremony. Shortly, the official party, academics and graduates will process out of the theatre. I ask that you remain seated while the procession leaves and only exit once the last graduate has left the theatre. You're all invited to join the graduates in Don's Tavern for post-ceremony refreshments. You will need to show your ticket to gain admission to Don's and will be seated once you're inside. And that's it for today's graduations. Thank you.